Okay, day one of the 2025 demo day. We are inside the room because it's basically freezing cold outside in a Florida situation where it's probably into the 40s. And no, I am not sitting by the pool in order to go do this. There's a lot going on this Monday, so let's get this thing on the road. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm no different. It would be about what's in my drawers way in Ohio. Way in Ohio. So what we're at, we are in Orlando for the 2025 demo day, or demo for the PGA show. First of what all these are is the ACCRA Demo Day. The ACCRA Demo Day is quite possibly the largest gathering of all club makers, club fitters that are what we'd call in the special category. And they're not all like that, but ones that have, there are some that have very large businesses, like Scott Gorley, who's in Scotland, has several locations around the UK. There are some folks that are singles like me that live in very high-end districts, and they do a lot with those people. And then there's folks like me who have been doing it for quite a long time and has built up a business doing it like that. So that's what we're doing. Okay, we did that today. And what they do is they go over the product releases, the things that they would like to show us, and then we go play golf at a Orange Tree Country Club. And it's basically in the middle of Orlando. And this time it was probably the nicest that I've ever been. And we've been here gobs and gobs of years, and this is the nicest it's ever looked. Unfortunately, it was just brutally cold when we first got started. We got done halfway in, or we started halfway into it. Sun came out. It was really nice. I stripped off half my layers. In fact, this was all I was wearing at one point. And then I had to start putting them back on as the clouds started rolling in and the temperature started dropping. However, just a quick, I'm gonna show you a quickie in that, and we're not going to stay on here very long, guys, because I know a lot of things are going on. I'm looking at the inauguration going on. I know the NCAA championships going on, and but we are going to talk about some stuff. So as I told you, each night we're going to do some more of what I covered. So today, what it was ACCRA. Now, ACCRA and True Temper and Steel Fiber are all in one conglomerate. Okay, they're all one big deal. And one last thing, I got to golf with Brad, Michael, and Lawrence. All good guys. Found out Michael is from Pennsylvania. Brad is a Canadian that's been down in Florida for a very long time. He's now in Jacksonville. And Lawrence is one of his customers who actually watches these programs. So thanks, guys. It was actually a very fun round. All righty. So all three companies are under the umbrella of True Temper. And what they're doing is, so they let you know about these different product releases. And I'm being held back by, I'm not supposed to say anything about pricing, which I normally don't anyway. So what's going to come? Number one, let's start with True Temper. True Temper has two things that are coming out, and one of them I already have in my bag, and it was the DG Mid 90. Thing worked pretty good today. I was hitting them pretty straight. It just sat in 50-degree weather, and down here in Orlando where normally lose a club, for some reason my brain would not let me hit another club up for the same distance. However, I was hitting them very well. All right, so anyway, the other one, which is really a neat release, is there's going to be a new Project X steel shaft, and it's going to be called Project X Red. Now, the reason why it's called red is because the original label is blue, as everybody understands. Red is going to be in the same realm and different weights, meaning that, can I get a tissue, please? And here we go, starting already. So the red is going to be a Project X shaft. Thank you. Look at that, Mr. McGolf on the mend here, or on the help. but it's a Project X to get the ball in the air. Sorry about this, but if I don't get it going, I'll sound like a snot ball the entire time. So the DG Mid, I found out more about the DG Mid. The DG Mid is basically the dynamic gold, but a bit softer in the middle, like we always thought, in order to help get the ball up in the air. It's also using slightly lighter numbers. Instead of 120, it's more like 115. That's a minor thing. In the Project X Red, the weights and the flexes will, as the flexes go down, so will the weight. However, the sweet spot is, as I have found many times over, the sweet spot for a lot of golfers out there. The sweet spot for a lot of golfers out there is about that 95 to 105 range, and that's where they stuck a large portion of those of the weights and the flexes. All right. As you go up, it'll be higher flexes and higher weights. And if you go below it, it'll be lower flexes and lower weights. Okay. That's coming out. And from Acra's point of view, the TZ line, now the TZ line iron shaft is it is a very stout shaft. I had some, they work great. And what they are is they have a very stable tip section. So if you're typically if you're an aggressive swinger, you would like these shafts. Okay. The other part is because they were more in the stable tip section, they tended to swing weight a little bit heavier, meaning that if you had a normal shaft and it would be, say, D0, you could probably get D1, D2 out of these. All right. I'm going to win eventually. So what makes this so special? Well, now they've released a 55 and a 65 gram shaft. So they have 55, 65, 75, 85, I believe 85, 95, 105, 115. So there's a whole caveat of these things out there. What makes the 55 and 65 special? Well, as it just so happens, if you happen to know that senior golfer that is an aggressive swinger, trying to swing hard instead of fast, that person that pulls back really hard and then pushes back down really hard, but not at a very fast swing speed, this very well may be what we are looking for. And it gives a little bit of head weight so the person can track it, track what you're looking at, and it's really, it'll be very, very stable. So it won't be flying all over the place like a lot of these senior shafts would be. So that worked out very, very well. In the steel fiber range, and we're all in these iron shafts still, there was a release in the UK only, and they were called J and L or J and H steel fiber shafts. They're now being released into the US. I really don't have a good answer on what makes them different. I can only imagine that there is different profiles, all right, which steel fiber really didn't have. They had weights, but these guys are a little bit more specific in profiles. See that hand back there? See a hand back there? That's Mrs. McGolf right there. She's hanging out on the bed. So anyway, so that happened. So in along with the steel fiber in the, what they call it, the special release category, where it's the darker shaft, not the light silver shafts, the special category, you have the special category, and then now these two, the J and the H's. So that will be something to look forward to if you're a steel fiber person. I haven't really checked into it, so I don't know too much. All right, now driver shafts. Driver shafts, the thing that they're all getting really excited about. In fact, I talked to Don, who is the head tester, research design guy for True Temper, and he is very excited about a shaft called the Nexus, Nexus, and the Nexus is a steel fiber driver shaft that's going to have a weave in the butt section to make it a little bit more stable. They like saying stable instead of stiff. stable in the butt section, but a little bit easier to hit in the tip section. And he believes that's probably going to be their hottest driver shaft going forward for this year. That's out of his mouth, not mine. And the Nexus, it has a very cool look, I will say that. I didn't get to hit any of it because normally, and you would think that Canadians, that they would have some left-handed stuff. They had one driver, and it turns out there was 3 or 4 left-handed guys out there, including me. So that was it. Now, in testing some of these iron shafts, they had the Mura was there, and I got to hit the Mura 801. Nice club. It was a very, very nice club. So we had that one. In the Acra line, the Acra is going to be releasing a. All I can say is that they're going to be releasing a new TZ. And I like the TZ. The Tour used to be called the Tour Z. Now it's called the TZ. They're going back to a more foundation, the original foundation, and doing some tweaking to it in order to take off from what they found from TZ6 and TZ5, the 2 different things that they found out that were really working, and put them into these 2 different shafts. And if it does what they say it's going to do, it's going to be pretty doggone cool. Okay. That was a good one. They also, and last but not least, came out with they were telling us about the putter shafts. Now, these putter shafts, Acra's had putter shafts forever. In fact, I have a aftermarket, or I have a proprietary Acra shaft in my lab putter, but I can't get that one. Nevertheless, they used to have they called it an Acra F putter. Anyway, you can get it 100, 200, 300, 400, and that was basically from the lightest and most flexible to the steel rod and very, very heavy. Turns out about the 300 was probably the best. Does that mean 300 grams? No. That means that it was the most stable for these people. Now they're going to break it down into four different categories, but in 2 different models. So the first one, like in the 1, 2, and 300 models, there will only be 2. They're going to have different names. And now they're going to have a sink. And they've had sinks before. This sink has got a bit of a different graphic to it. And for those of us that are looking for an affordable, basically 0 torque, it has 1 degree of torque. So basically it's a 0 torque putter shaft. And it's called a sink. Now, the problem with the sink is, in everything graphite, is going to be is that it has to go into a hosel. If you have an over the hosel application, that is going to be a problem. Okay, that is going to be a problem. So if there was some sort of adapter out there to make that happen, cool, but you got to worry about cosmetics and how it would affect the geometry of the putter. Which PZ on here, I think, was working on one, and this might be one of those cases where it would work pretty cool. I still have them in my envelope, dude. I'm gonna have to open them back up. But because it's graphite, the inside of the ID of the shaft is so small it could not physically do a post putter, meaning an over the post or something that has to cover something. It has to go inside the hosel. So there was all that. So in this whole thing, 2 putter shafts, 1, 2, 3 driver shafts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 iron shafts in one meeting. Some changes that are out there. So very, very cool, right? So they're already seeing a lot of upgrade to a lot of these shafts, and that's just in the companies that we use. All right, so we got a little bit left. James E. Pepper, Bottle and Bond. So that was the exciting part of it, and the fact that I got to test some Mura product, that was kind of fun as well. And so that's basically that. It was it. Had a nice meal with him. Got to meet a lot of old friends and made some new ones. And so that is demo day in a nutshell. Okay, demo day in a nutshell. Next time in the you know, the technological bug bit me, and I was recovering all the way up until about 30 seconds into starting this up. I downloaded some pictures. However, I got to be able to download to a folder, and it hasn't recognized a folder. I think it's restarting the computer will fix it all, but that's where it's at. Okay, so again, tomorrow is the actual demo day. Okay, demo day is slated to be extraordinarily cold, starting like what, 40 degrees, or was it going to get into the 30s? Anyway, so 40s or 30s. Let's see if I want to still get this to moving. Yep, look at that.
45.
So it's going to start cold. It's supposed to get up to 50, but it's got a high percentage chance of rain. So if it's raining heavily, we're not going because it's all out of doors. If it's a dusting and we think it's going to go off, then certainly we will go. So we'll have to play that one by ear. If we did go and we found some stuff, I will post it up in the middle of the day to let you guys know that it's coming. If we did not, you won't hear a thing. It's going to be radio silent. I'll put something in the community here to tell you that we are not, and then we'll be done. Okay? So let's answer some questions. All right. John Lamb says, have to catch it later. Buckeyes take precedence at this time. Ask why paint jobs on the shafts got so busy. I like flat black look. Well, that's just because that they thought, fancy was exactly that. And when you have something fancy, you want to make sure all that happens, right? There we go. All righty. Manual. Hello, Jim and Robin. It's a bit warmer here than that is in the Northeast. Just wedge simulator work and indoor putting this week. New launches are bringing in some customers. Good. Hopefully the Callaway is. Ours, I think, dropped off as the day that we are leaving. Good gravy. And we got to thank Penny for bringing it in for us. She's hooking us up. Thank you very much, Penny. And so we did good there. I will say that I played at the Ocala, the country club there, and shot an 88. I went 86. Yeah, I went 86, or I went 40, 46, 42. And I was actually chipped stuff out of the sand. So Bob should be very happy with it because normally I suck. All righty, Emmanuel, any thoughts on paint jobs and the new elite drivers and their woods? Not yet, Emmanuel. I saw them once, and we'll leave it at that. When I first saw it, I saw a lot of green initially. My eyes just went straight to the green. I thought, please do not be another bright green driver. And it's not. I think it's got some highlights of green, which I like green. So it's not going to be off-putting to me a bit. But it's got to match up too. So when I get more of a chance and we get those things in there, we're going to do a review, and we'll let you guys know what's going on. Beautiful shafts. The ones that we saw were very nice. Very simple. The Project X Red was just exactly what you would think. It's the red label instead of the blue. The steel fibers are cool with that darker paint job. The Acra is staying the same, and the TZ is more of that chrome ion. The Nexus is what's a little bit different. The Nexus has got that weave pattern in the back that you can see from the steel fiber. And then after that, it's all about the paint. All righty. Greetings all. Hope you guys are having a good time. So far, so good. The weather's kind of sucky, but we're going to see if we can't power through it a little bit. Yes, we did. We stayed over the weekend in Ocala with our cousins, JP and Joanne, and it was a great time. JP was kind enough to take me up to the country club, and Joanne is a phenomenal cook. She can cook anything. Phil, curb stomp Kirby. Acra makes the best steel. It is a nice steel if you like it. They've got a green and a red as well. Love your show no matter what time you start. Oh, thanks, Jess. Appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Can you hear him? Yep. Sounds fine. Good. Yes, thanks. Yes, thanks. Yes, thanks. She was hoping that you can't hear me, but the funny part is my mic is right here behind this. If you look, there it is. It's right here. And normally I have it very, very close, but in this little bit of a room, actually the dynamics aren't too bad. All righty. Phil Case is happy Monday from Austin, listening to you while watching OSU. Yeah, we're going to have to get to that. I'm kind of interested myself. Got all this. There's Steven. What do you say in Tennessee? Hit that like button, everybody. I appreciate it. In fact, I never asked you guys. Please like and subscribe. Let's get some of that. Let's get noticed on this YouTube stuff. Jesse says hi. John Seri says thumbs up. PX2, right? The Project X, yes. So the Project X. So for those of you guys wondering about the IOs and the other ones, this red is probably going to take over a lot of those spaces. The weight categories for the IO and the there's one more. I've been away from it for a bit on PX, but the two, there's a lot of folks that the LZ. That was what it was. The LZ, as the weight goes down a little bit, these will take over for some of the LZs. As you get up, it'll be the IO and the other one that goes with it. Have fun and enjoy. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Appreciate that. There's Redhead 97 saying hello, hello. PX trying to finally get into old schoolers' hands. Yes, I would say they finally realized that. And the same thing with the dynamic golds, right? There's only just so much the dynamic gold has. They've sold several lifetimes worth of golf shafts because they fell into this place that works. Plus the popularity, much like the Titleist Pro V golf ball. It not only carries itself because it works, but the popularity, even if it didn't work, the popularity would carry it maybe for a year or two. And that's the same thing with these PXs. But yeah, if they get something that gets the ball up in the air a little bit more with the stronger lofted clubs and slightly slower swing speeds for the old schoolers, this could be a real winner. Hello, Jim Rum. Sorry, I'm here in Orlando. Got busy and missed the live, but here at Orange County tomorrow. Very good, bud. Be careful getting down here. All righty. Freezing Myrtle Beach did order a Shogun Green driver shaft. The order from you?
No, we did not.
Oh, and we could have hooked you up, Peter. All right, Stan, what do you say? Good evening. Good evening. Central Florida is cold. No golf. They were talking like the Panhandle was going to get snow. That's how cold the frost band reached down into the U.S. today. All right. 9 degrees in West Virginia. Yeah, when we left, I got a picture of it. As we were leaving, 1 degree. 1. So, yeah. This is as close as golf as we're going to get, no doubt. Hopefully we can get it going. Burr. How long are your typical iron fittings? Okay. About an hour and a half to 2 hours. Right, there it is. How can you drink a great bourbon out of a plastic motel glass? I wish I was closer so I can get you a decent glass. I know, right? We were just talking. I was just talking to Robin about that, and I was like, oh my God, I am not. That's the reason why there was just a little bit in it. Okay, there was just a little bit in that thing, and yeah, and it don't even taste good out of a plastic glass, by the way. So in one of our walks, if it's rainy tomorrow, I can bet you there will be a glass in my possession. Yes, whatever. There's Krister from Sweden. What's going on, sir? Myrtle Beach, all the courses will be closed the next few days as we're spinning here. Myrtle Beach Natural, covering the greens with tarps. All right. You guys aren't used to all that kind of stuff. There's Paul. What do you say, sir? Glad you made it on. Hello to Prister. Scott Walling, Mizuno Pro S3s. Thoughts? I've seen them. I like the looks of them. I think that they're going to be very, very good. But I have to get them in order to do a little bit more testing. Okay. In fact, we've been waiting for their availability in order to put them in the shop. Because I have just a handful. If anybody is interested in, what is it, D grinds, I got some S3. I got some of the original models. They've been discontinued for about 6 months. I got a couple D grinds in the copper, and we're ready to go if you're interested. Hello, she says to Scott. Okay. So this was very slow. If I go to there will be a video on this, so we won't be releasing one tonight because the internet is kind of wonky. So I'm not going to risk it and have it, jack up on us. So we'll try it again a little bit later when it's a little bit less usage. And but there will be one on the demo day. I normally do one with Lee. He and I will get together probably indoors this time because it was kind of brutal in the morning, and then we'll get there. And then but tomorrow, hopefully, I get to take a bunch of pictures. We'll download them. I'll be able to put them in there for you, and we should be good to go. So here we are. I knew it was going to be a short one. It's only going to be a half an hour long. So everybody, be safe, stay warm, enjoy the football game, right? Enjoy the football games. Enjoy the inauguration. Oh, I got one more. Steve has made it on here. Describe the type of shafts available in golf. Whoa. That would take hours, Steve. Hours. Okay. There literally are two types of shafts if you want to break it down. There's steel and there's graphite. And steel is the more common because that's what they used after wood. And it's not easier. It's cheaper to build them because of the processes are more factory oriented, more mechanical, less hands on. And you prescribe in what you want, and then you get it. Now, typically, in order to get lower weight, you make the butt section bigger and some of the walls thinner, and all of a sudden you get lower weights. The other one is graphite. Graphite is exactly what it means. It's graphite that are strands of man-made graphite glued together with epoxy. And as we get smarter, we use less epoxy and we use more strands. And as the layers of the strands change, we can change the profiles of the shaft. And typically there's a breaking point right about that 90 to 105 gram. They start interchanging, and you can actually, in some cases, the graphite is more stout or even harsh versus where the steel might feel better, okay? But it goes back and forth, and then it starts getting light, and the lighter ones are for trying to pick up some swing speed also, but don't let it fool you. There can be some very good graphite out there. The other thing that for graphite is that's a tremendous shock absorber. So there's a plenty of graphite shafts out there for the very hard swinger or the very aggressive swinger, and there are some steel shafts out there for the slower swinger that wants to stay in lightweight shafts. Have fun enjoying looking for a graphite shaft. For Srixon Forest question, can I use a shaft that is 370 and convert it 355? Yeah, it depends. One of the best ones I've seen go into the ZX4s is that Acra I series. It actually works pretty good, probably a 70, 80 grammer, depending on who you are. And you can do one of two things. You can either ream out the hosel, which is very soft, or you can taper that particular one because there's a lot of beef at the end of the tip. Okay, there we go. So hopefully, Steve, I got you taken care of, and Mr. Three Putt, hopefully I got you taken care of. Okay. So again, I want you guys to be safe. Enjoy all the festivities that are going on with the inauguration and with the football game, and watch for our posting to see what the time frame will be tomorrow, because I'm here to tell you they're going to differ. I don't think we're going to do another 8 o'clocker, but you just never know about such things. So as always, let's see your scores go low.